It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are talking about the Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. Great website, lots of information there. Anything you need to know you will find at verderiver.org. I'm sitting here with the brand new executive director, Nancy Steele, and also board president Chip Norton. Thank you for being here today, guys. Appreciate
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to be here.
Congratulations, Nancy.
Thank you.
As the executive director, that's a feat.
Thank you. My 1 week anniversary today.
1 week. How's it feel so far?
It feels great.
Good.
I love the area. I've always loved the area, and the organization's just fantastic. I feel really lucky to have found it and to have been hired.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What did you do before that?
I worked for Council for Watershed Health, which is a kind of a similar organization in many ways to Friends of the Verde River in having some of the same goals, community enhancement, restoring flows, and enhancing habitat. So it's kind of similar, but it was a much more urban setting in Los Angeles, of course, with all of the problems that come with an urban setting.
Wow.
And so here, it's a different setting, a different river, and I think it's going to be a lot more fun.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I hope so. And Chip, how long have you been board president now?
9 years.
9 years.
9 years.
So
yeah.
Basically since the beginning of the organization.
Not the very beginning. The Friends started in 2007, and it was basically 5 very passionate people that got groups of volunteers together to do habitat restoration and river cleanups, and they worked very closely with Arizona State Parks. And after a couple years, they decided, hey, we'd like to be a little bit more organized, and I had just retired and was looking for some community volunteer work to do, and so it just happened for everybody at the right time, and so I took on the role of president, and I've been doing that ever since.
I know, 9 years is a long time to spend as board president.
Not when you're as old as I am. It's just a short time.
Oh. Now, Friends of the Verde River, what do you guys do?
Well, we have 3 main thematic areas that we do. We restore habitat, sustain flows, and promote community stewardship in the Verde watershed. And basically the geographic scope of our work is the entire Verde watershed. I think most of our work has been focused in the Verde Valley for some aspects of our goals, but a lot of the work that we do, especially the habitat restoration, we're doing all the way from the headwaters down to Horseshoe Lake. So,
And what does habitat restoration look like?
well, it can have different faces. Most of the work we've been doing is treating invasive plant species. What's happened over time is different species have been introduced from Asia, Africa, Europe, and they actually outcompete the native plants and trees like cottonwood and willow and displace them, and that has a real negative impact on migratory birds, fish, the mammals that make rivers and streams their homes. And so we've done a lot of work in the last 7 years in treating those species, removing them, and let the native vegetation come back. We also work on stream bank erosion, mitigation, doing work with pollinators, specific species of birds and other wildlife to create wetlands and other things that provide them the habitat they need to breed successfully. But we also do a lot of work. It's habitat for people too. So that means a place for people to take their families down to the river and picnic, to go get in a boat and paddle down the river, go fishing. So it's the whole gamut.
Right. It's the overall health of the community, be it the natural community or the folks in the community.
And it's also a great job opportunity. You know, I think one of the really feel-good stories is that our contract restoration crews, some of them are recent veterans returning from Afghanistan and other areas that have come back with a lot of challenges in re-entry. And what we've found is if you put a team of veterans together, that it's a win-win. We get great work, and it's just the type of process they need to work their way back into being productive, and they really feel good about continuing to serve. We feel good about providing them that opportunity.
That's wonderful. What a great idea that is, to get the veterans involved.
Right.
Now, you've done a lot this year as far as growth as an organization. It took on a bunch of different organizations and kind of made them one, so that the house is now called Friends of the Verde River. And then there's all these different organizations under you. Is that correct now, Nancy?
Not necessarily under us. They've been subsumed into the organization. So we're one organization, one unified organization, with the 3 programs that Chip talked about, the restoring flows and habitat and enhancing community stewardship. So that all comes under the umbrella of Friends of the Verde River.
Okay, so each one of those programs was a different group, so to speak, a different company.
Not necessarily a different group. Some of the organizations, I think the one that, you can help me out, Chip, since I'm new, but the partnership, for example, that puts on the birding festival, that's not a separate program. That's part of our enhancing community stewardship program. So the birding festival will continue as it always has in April, but under the Friends umbrella instead of a different organization. So that's an example of how we've taken and integrated that organization into ours.
So you've tripled in size now, basically.
Tripled, doubled, yeah, it's been a big growth.
Absolutely, and hence the need for more leadership, more staff. You've hit the big time now with all your new staff and yourself as the new executive director.
Yes.
That's exciting news. You're really rolling now. So tell us a little bit about the stewardship, creating the drive in the citizens to preserve the Verde River. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
I think that it involves getting people to the river, getting people to recreate on the river, getting people to think about the river as a central part of the lives of themselves and the community itself. When you're on a river, when you're walking next to a river, when you're experiencing a river, you grow to love it. You can't help but love it. As humans, we just love water. So the stewardship is everything from coming out and doing a river cleanup, to weeding in a pollinator garden, to kayaking the river. It's all those parts of having people touch the water, touch the river, touch the habitat, and learn more about it. If you learn who the birds are, if you can name a bird, then that's something special. You're tied more closely. But it's also about the economic health of the Verde Valley. I was just reading, I think it's close to $120 million of our economy is tied directly or indirectly to the river.
Oh my gosh, I definitely want to talk more about that. We've got to take a quick break. We are talking about the Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. We're talking with the brand new Executive Director, Nancy Steele, and Board President, Chip Norton. And we will be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late...
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd. Start your day with Brian James in the morning. He'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
And welcome back to Countywide. I'm Jen Cohen. We're talking about the Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. Great website. Lots of information about the umbrella that is the Friends and all the different organizations that are underneath of it. All the good they're doing, awards they've won, the staff that they've got now. Amazing information there. Check out verderiver.org. We're talking with Executive Director Nancy Steele and Board President Chip Norton. Before we went on our break, Nancy, you were talking about the direct economic benefit of the Verde River here. It's like $120 million?
Yeah, close to $120 million of economic benefit.
And where does that come from? How is that possible?
Most of that is tourism, geotourism, people coming here and wanting to see the red rocks, wanting to kayak the river. A lot of it is from the wineries, and I think that part is probably growing. And then the rest of the agricultural businesses here in the Verde Valley.
Wow, you wouldn't think that's an enormous number.
Yes.
I mean, what a benefit that is to us. And I've only been here, about 8 years, but I see such a difference. I really see the difference in the river and the tourism, which didn't exist 8 years ago. So how did you promote that? How did that come about?
Oh, Chip, I'm sure you have a great story.
You don't know all that after being here 1 week? Well, I think there was a lot of things to help bring that about. I think that Friends submitted the grant proposal that funded the geotourism effort with the Sedona Verde Valley Tourism Council and the Sedona Chamber of Commerce. So that's a case of, the way you get things done now is partnerships. And whereas oftentimes conservation groups and business interests are not necessarily working together on things, here we work together to get the Verde Valley designated as one of 22 geotourism locations in the world. Wow. And that brings National Geographic, so eco-travelers, eco-tourists that put a lot of stock in what National Geographic recommends, sees that and they go, well, this is a great place. We want to spend our dollars in a green way, and the Verde Valley is the right place to do that. Also, we have a partnership with local businesses for a One for the Verde program, and that's where local businesses gather money from their patrons. Again, green travelers that want to patronize that business for being a conservation partner, and bringing that all together, and then working with elected officials. Like right now, if you talk to the mayors in the municipalities along the Verde River, every one of them's a strong proponent of a healthy flowing river being part of the things that you see happening that are so positive in the Verde Valley. You talk about the changes in Old Town, and I think having a healthy flowing river connecting these communities is part and parcel of that economy that I think is very positive. It's an opportunity for folks that haven't always been good partners to work together to get things done rather than have mistrust and other things reign. So
beautiful that you're able to make all that work. What's the biggest challenge that you guys feel right now the river is having? What are you working against, or what's working against you?
Well, I think any time you're an agent of change, there's always a challenge because there's just an inertia in everyone. I mean, I don't like to change my habits, but you know, we need to change to adapt to, you know, to achieve the future that we want. And so that's part of it, is just getting people out of the groove, I'll call it, rather than the rut that they're in, and to make some changes that really are going to provide a better future for all of us. Is a challenge. And I think that historically there's been mistrust among different groups, and I think one of the reasons that Friends has had successes is because we ignore all that, and just everybody is just someone that is either already a friend or will be a friend.
Oh, it's a great attitude,
rather than that, oh, blame people for this or that. And when you take that approach, you get stuff done. You know, and I think elected officials and community leaders appreciate that, because in the past we've been told, oh, you'll never get everybody to agree to work together on this. And I don't think anybody ever asked them.
Right, they just assumed.
Well, anyway, so we've just giving people an opportunity to do good work seems to be the key to getting stuff done.
And an opportunity to do good work through volunteerism is a wonderful way to change people's attitudes, minds, and to create stewardship. Nancy, how's the volunteerism going within the organization? You must need volunteers all the time for these cleanups and these invasive plant removals. How does that work for you?
Well, one of the things I'm learning as I'm here is just how important volunteerism is to the organization. And so, for example, we've got 4 activities coming up on the Martin Luther King Day of Service. And you can find more information about that on our website also. And it's a great opportunity for people to come out on that Monday and do some cleaning up, do some weeding, and enjoy being in the outdoors and enjoying being in service.
Nice. And you got the day off anyway, so.
Right.
That's beautiful. How many volunteers does it take to how do you run with it when you do an event? We're going to go do a cleanup. How many people do you expect to have? How many people would you like to have?
I think each of, Chip can back me up in this, but I think each of the events we're hoping to have between 50 and 75 people.
Wow, that's a lot of volunteers.
Hoping to have a couple of hundred people out there.
Right. What does it take to be a volunteer for Friends of the Verde?
Just a willingness to come and work and enjoy what you're doing.
That's wonderful. Now, the invasive plants seems to be a really big problem. You know, that you said, Chip, that they come from all over the place. How did they get here? Is this through landscaping? Is this through purchasing things at a store, planting them, and then they kind of propagate?
Actually, a lot of them were introduced by us. I think in the past that to mitigate stream bank erosion, that land managers, local landowners planted some of these trees. Some of them just hitchhiked into the area, so it's a mixed bag. But I think the species that we have most challenges with, that we introduced them ourselves, and now we're trying to correct that.
That happens. Humans as a species are always meddling in the affairs of nature.
Right.
It's complicated, and everyone wants things to be simple.
That is true. That is true.
Anyway.
Awesome. All right, we're going to take another short break. We're talking about Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. Lots of good stuff going on there. We're talking with a brand new Executive Director, Nancy Steele, and Board President Chip Norton. We'll be back, so don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
Mateo.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And welcome back to Countywide. Just a few minutes left. I'm Jen Cohen. We're talking with the Friends of the Verde River. We're talking with Nancy Steele, the Executive Director, and Chip Norton, the Board President. Now, open house. You have a whole new office. You have so many new things that have happened this year. It's just amazing. And now you have a new office, and you're having an open house on Thursday, January 25th. Tell us about that, Nancy. That sounds very exciting.
It's an open house, like the name implies, from noon until, I think we're going till 7.
Yeah.
And so just people can just come in, say hi, and maybe grab a pastry. And then around 5:30, after people have gotten off work, if they want to come in, we'll have some presentations, a little bit more structured time, and they can get to know the organization a little bit better.
Wow.
But we'll have materials for people to come in and grab and take home and read. And like I said, they can ask us questions. We'll be there all day.
Wow, that's a nice long open house from noon to 7. I mean, that's amazing. And specifically from 5:30 to 7, there's the reception and the presentations by the board and the program managers. What kind of presentations would we experience?
I think we'll touch on just the different programmatic areas and get maybe a better idea of what we mean when we say sustaining flows or restoring habitat or promoting community stewardship. And who knows, we may even get some guest presentations from maybe from some elected officials or business leaders, just
Very
to
nice.
mix it up a little bit.
Very nice. I'm still blown away by how far you came. You came from 5 people with a passion and their bare hands to now this large organization, this umbrella over all these different things, you know, working in this humongous area. You've got 400 miles of
Rivers
river
and streams. Yeah.
That it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. I think it's we're getting to the point where now we reminisce and say, boy, this was a lot easier when there was just 5 people. but really it's a big task, and it requires a lot of organization and good professional leadership like we get from Nancy to get it done. So.
Yeah.
It's such an exciting time, not just for the organization, but for the Verde Valley.
Absolutely. Yeah, the growth and really the upwelling of stewardship is really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful that things have changed so much in just the past couple of years. And really, Friends of the Verde River, you guys were at the head of it all.
Yeah.
You know, I really have seen it, so.
Well, I think it's more like the start of a marathon. We were in the mix there at the starting line. We made it to the finish line, or at least to this milestone.
We kept going.
Oh, but you have so much more to do. It's really incredible, and I see great things. You know, the organization is just going to keep growing, isn't it?
I think that the organization is going to keep growing in influence and effectiveness.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Nancy, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on being the new executive director on your first week.
So happy to be here.
Thank you. Chip, thank you for being here. Really keep it up. We'll check in with you a few years from now. You'll still be board president. It'll be amazing.
Well, yeah. If you can find me to check in, I probably will be.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's all the time we have for Countywide. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been talking with Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. See you next time.